There is a black hole in Kansas, and they can't stop it from growing. Almost every child with an interest in the universe has considered the effects that a black hole would have upon the Earth, or at least certain people living on it. Frank Heil from Stanford University has speculated on what would happen if a black hole the size of a coin, which would have approximately the same mass as the Earth, was placed at the center of the planet. It wouldn't be as simple as the Earth getting hoovered into a cosmic maw, but it would be messy. Matter falling into the black hole would become extremely hot, causing radiation and pressure to push out the outer layers of matter and cause a spectacular explosion, blowing much of the Earth away as superheated plasma. Conservation of angular momentum would dictate that the mass of the Earth would start to rotate faster around the black hole and create an accretion disk that would restrict the speed in which the black hole could consume the mass of the Earth. The Earth would be a rapidly rotating ruin, but it would take some time to be consumed. A smaller black hole wouldn't be so bad. Primordial black holes are believed to be prevalent throughout the universe, with the mass equivalent to a small mountain. These PBHs are theorized to be lurking inside certain gas giants and might cause premature supernova in stars. If one hit the Earth at high speed, it might just pass straight through. According to Russian and Swiss research, such a collision would release energy equal to the detonation of a ton of TNT, but this would be spread across its entire trip through the Earth, so you might be lucky to see the spark as it hit the ground. It would, however, leave behind a long tube of heavily radiative damaged material, which should stay recognizable for geological time. Things would be even grimmer if the solar system was approached by a supermassive black hole with around 1 million times the mass of the Sun, perhaps ejected by the gravity of two colliding galaxies. According to astronomer Christopher Springgob, we would realize something was amiss when the black hole came within 1,000 light-years of our solar system and we started to notice other stars being disrupted. Then, we might only have a few 100,000 years to prepare for its arrival within a few hundred light-years, when the black hole would disrupt the orbits of the planets and potentially send us spinning out of the solar system to freeze, or diving into the Sun to charbroil. By the time it was within a light-year, its gravity would rip the world apart, so the Earth would be well chewed before it was finally swallowed. Or not. Ohio State University's Samir Mathur believes that he has mathematical proof that we might not even notice getting sucked up by a black hole. He is a proponent of fuzzball theory, stating that black holes are probably tangled balls of cosmic string that create near-perfect holograms of anything touching their surface. Some believe that fuzzball black holes are still surrounded by a highly destructive firewall, but Mathur believes that if the universe is a hologram as string theory suggests, then black holes might just be mostly harmless copying machines. Others worry that if we were able to create mini black holes, they could grow and grow as it feeds. Using an X-ray laser they created a molecular black hole. Imagine you took all sunlight that hits our planet at any given moment, and focused it on one, unfortunate, piece of Earth the size of a thumbnail. Now times that blistering intensity by 100, and you're beginning to understand the insanity of the world's most powerful X-ray laser. In a surprise result, scientists have focused the full intensity of this laser onto a single molecule, and the aftermath has given rise to a phenomenon no one's ever seen before: a molecular black hole, which consumes anything in its path. We certainly weren't expecting this from previous measurements, one of the team, Sebastian Botet from the U.S. Department of Energy's SLAC National Accelerator Laboratory, told Mashable. Training laser beams in on unsuspecting molecules is nothing new. In past experiments, physicists have used lower-intensity lasers to blast small iodomethane molecules and strip away the electrons encircling their single iodine atom. But when Botet and his team focused an ultra-intense X-ray laser pulse from SLAC SLINAC coherent light source onto similar molecules, it gave rise to a hungry void, which started pulling in electrons from the rest of the molecule like a microscopic black hole, before promptly blowing up. It generated a lot of charge inside the atom, and it sucks in everything around it, one of the researchers, Daniel Rolls from Kansas State University, told Douglas Main at Newsweek. It doesn't seem to stop. The whole thing was over in less than 30 femtoseconds, millionths of a billionth of a second. The researcher's molecule was stripped of more than 50 electrons, which was far more than expected, based on what less intense beams have done before. The team first experimented with single xenon atoms, using special mirrors to focus the X-ray beam to an area just over 100 nanometers in diameter, 1,000 times smaller than the width of a human hair. The X-ray blast stripped the xenon atoms of their electrons, creating what's known as a hollow atom. But this state didn't last long. Electrons from the outer parts of the atom started cascading down to fill the void, only to be kicked back out by another laser beam. All that ended up remaining in these atoms were the most tightly bonded electrons. That behavior recalls what researchers have observed in previous experiments using lower energy laser beams, but things got weird when they watched what happened to iodine atoms inside larger iodomethane molecules. The iodine atom, stripped of its electrons, started tearing electrons from its neighboring carbon and hydrogen atoms, pulling them in like a black hole would swallow up matter that ventures too close to its event horizon. Each time the atom would pull in the stolen electrons, the laser beam would blast them away again, and the atom ended up losing 54 electrons, more than the 53 it had started with before being obliterated. The team repeated the process using an even larger iodobenzene molecule, and a similar phenomenon occurred. This is not something physicists have seen before, Main reports for Newsweek. In total, the X-ray lasered away 54 of the molecule's 62 electrons, giving it a charge 54 times what it would be in an unexcited state. This is the most extreme charge, or level of ionization, ever achieved using light, according to the researchers. The team says more experiments are needed to figure out exactly what's going on here, because they suspect that the larger iodobenzene molecule might have sucked in and lost even more than the 54 shed by the iodomethane molecule. We think the effect was even more important in the larger molecule than in the smaller one, but we don't know how to quantify it yet, one of the researchers, Artem Rudenko from Kansas State University, said in a press statement. We estimate that more than 60 electrons were kicked out, but we don't actually know where it stopped, because we could not detect all the fragments that flew off as the molecule fell apart to see how many electrons were missing. This is one of the open questions we need to study. It doesn't seem to stop. And yes, this thing is still growing in a lab in Kansas. I guess I will say it now, goodbye Kansas, or at least it may make a copy of you. Stay paranoid, my friends.